France is day 726 of the unprovoked Russian invasion of Ukraine, and after almost 10 years of heroic defense, the Ukrainian defenders left the ruins of Avdiyivka. In their social media, the Russian terrorists estimate their own losses as 16,000 dead, which corresponds to the data provided by the General Staff of Ukraine that reported 17,000 dead and approximately 30,000 wounded Russian invaders. According to the open-source analysis of the available footage, it was visually confirmed that between October and February, in Avdiyivka, the Russian invaders lost almost 13 times more personnel and vehicles than the Ukrainian defenders. In total, the Russian terrorists lost 11,000 more men than the whole population of Avdiyivka itself, and in just 4 months of this operation, their casualties exceeded the number of the men lost by the Soviet Union over the 10 years of war in Afghanistan. The area of Avdiyivka is about 29 square kilometers or 11 square miles. Just for comparison, the area of Kherson, liberated from Russians, is 135 square kilometers or 52 square miles. The total area cleared from the Russian invaders since 2022 is as big as 40,000 square kilometers or 16,000 square miles. Based on this data, it means that only to return to their previously controlled positions of March 2022, the Russian terrorists will have to sacrifice 65 million men. In order to take over Ukraine, we have to multiply this number by 3, and we're only talking about adult, combat-worthy population. Tremendous Russian losses in Ukraine explain the Russian atrociousness shown on the recent footage from the captured Ukrainian positions, where the Russian terrorists mercilessly executed the Ukrainian prisoners of war. How does controlling the ruins of Avdiyivka benefit to Russian invaders? First of all, it provides them an opportunity to secure the area around the city of Donetsk, because since the beginning of the Russian invasion, this stronghold provided the Ukrainian troops the ability to strike the Russian ammo and fuel storages and other important targets in Donetsk, such as training centers for the Russian UAV operators, dislocation areas of the Russian terrorists, command points, etc. And last week, the Russian terrorists lost their big landing ship, and during this weekend, 3 bombers and a fighter jet were also sacrificed in the Avdiyivka operation. And speaking of the Russian Navy, it's estimated that Ukrainian defenders disabled 33% of the Russian Black Sea fleet, with 23 ships being either destroyed or heavily damaged by a country that doesn't have a significant naval power. Alexei Navalny died in the Russian prison, setting a couple protests in Russia, which didn't last long, though, considering the terrorist Russian regime brought its big, scary policeman to suppress the protesters. It's really hard to comprehend this from the Ukrainian standpoint, but hopefully the Russian freedom fighters can show them how to properly fight the terrorist regime of Vladimir Putin, because democratic protests hardly work in a country that stands against democracy and freedom. While the Russian policemen enjoyed their time arresting the protesters, several men in civilian clothes removed the makeshift memorial to Alexei Navalny, and just like that, his memory will be erased from the Russian soul, like they did to Nemtsov, Listyev, Politkovskaya, and many other Russian dissidents. Personally, I consider Carlson's statement on this especially cynical.
You didn't talk about freedom of speech. You did not talk about Navalny, about assassinations.
Every leader kills people, including my leader. Every leader kills people. Some kill more than others. Leadership requires killing people, sorry.
Unfortunately, some people still consider this individual a professional journalist and a fighter for a better future. One of the main goals of the brainwashing is to convince people that violating the law is okay. Invading other countries, annexing their territories can be justified, might makes right, and generally, if you're strong enough, you can do whatever you like, because everybody does that. Growing cynicism is a big enemy of people who often forget that existing democracies and all the benefits of living in a secure, democratic environment, they're only possible due to the people who thought differently and fought against tyranny and oppression decades and centuries ago. Mass demonstrations of solidarity dedicated to the second anniversary of the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine will take place this Saturday on 24th of February around our planet. Please find out where exactly this meeting takes place in your city and bring your family and friends, because in these hard times we have to show unity and strength and remind corrupted totalitarian regimes that there is unstoppable force of people who will stand for democracy and freedom around the world. My friends, with that I wish you all a beautiful day. I'm operator Starsky. As always, be safe.